In this lesson, we look at 10 phrasal verbs that use the verb to take. And specifically, we look at the following phrasal verbs. Take off, of which there are 7. Take on. Take out. Take in. Take down. Take up. Take apart. Take back. Take after, and take over. And as we mentioned at the start, the number in brackets shows how many different meanings there are for each individual phrasal verb with to take. Look at take off. This is one of our most versatile phrasal verbs we have, and there are 7 different meanings for this verb. So how do we conjugate to take off? We have the infinitive, to take off, present participle, taking off, the past tense, took off, and the past participle, taken off. So one of the most common uses of take off is at airports, and we use this phrasal verb for when the plane leaves the ground. And here, the phrasal verb is not separable. So examples would be, what time does the plane take off? In other words, when does it leave? Or if you look over there, you can see the plane's taking off. So they're pointing you towards the runway. The other common use of take off that people think of is when we're removing items of clothing. And here in this usage, we can separate the phrasal verbs, so the take and the off don't have to be together. Examples would be, oh, you look ridiculous. Take that silly shirt off at once. Well, it was really warm, so I took my jumper off. And you can see here that the take and the off have extra words in between them, which is what we mean when we say it's separable. Take off can also mean to suddenly depart. And here the verb is not separable. So some examples are, I'm going to take off. See you later. So I'm off now, suddenly going. Or I don't know where John is. He just took off after breakfast. So John, after breakfast, just quickly left, didn't tell anyone where he was going. We also use take off when you don't go to work. And here the verb is separable. I'm going to take Friday off and enjoy a long weekend. Or I have a doctor's appointment, can I take the afternoon off? We also use take off to indicate a great success in something. And here it's not separable. Examples would be, Q4 last year was amazing. The business really took off. So Q4 is the 4th quarter of last year, October, November, December. And the business really took off. Turnover was good, profits were really good, that sort of thing. Or his career has been taking off since his appearance on TV. So he was on TV for something, and since then he's been more well known and his career is getting more successful. Another usage of take off is when we imitate someone. And here again, it's not separable in this usage. Examples are, she can take off Margaret Thatcher really well. Sounds just like her. Or professional mimics are expected to be able to take off several famous people. So to take them off is to imitate them and to sound like them. And the last usage is when a service is withdrawn. And here the phrasal verb is not separable. Examples are, the program was not popular and was taken off the television. Well, I was really sad when my favourite show was taken off the air. So to take it off is to remove it so it's no longer available to be watched or heard. Take on is another versatile phrasal verb, and here we look at 5 different meanings. Now, although on is the opposite of off, there is no logic to be applied here, and all these 5 meanings of take on, none of them are the opposite of any of the 7 of take off that we just looked at. So we can forget logic here. So how do we conjugate take on? We have the infinitive, to take on, the present participle, taking on, the past tense, took on, and the past participle, taken on. Look at the first example. We use take on when we employ somebody, and here the verb is separable. We have a lot of work to do. We should take on some more staff. She did well during the interview. I think we should take her on. So one where it's together and one where it's separable. Next usage of take on is when we fight somebody. This can also be in a competition as opposed to just a physical fight. And here the phrasal verb is separable. Some examples. If he pushes me again, I'm going to take him on. So if he pushes me, I'm going to fight him. Or England will take on Germany in the next round. So there's a sporting event, say football, and England and Germany are competing together. Another usage of take on is when people get onto a vehicle. And here the verb is not separable. The bus was full and we couldn't take on any more passengers. Or the taxi was big and could take on 6 passengers, as opposed to say 3 or 4 like a normal taxi. We also use take on when we accept a job or a task. And here the verb is not separable. And some examples: I'm really busy. I don't think I can take on any more work. We're taking on more work to save up for our holiday. We also use take on when something takes on an appearance or characteristic of something else. And I realise we've used take on to describe take on. There's not really an easier way of describing this, I'm sorry, but you'll see in the examples what we mean. And the something can also be someone. And here the phrasal verb is not separable. He just needed a beard and stomach padding to take on the appearance of Santa Claus. Her voice took on a serious tone when she scolded the children. So here in the first example, in order to look like Santa Claus or Father Christmas, he just needed a beard and stomach padding, so to appear like Father Christmas or Santa Claus. And in the second one, it's the voice took on a serious tone. So her